double think clouds your mind. If you walk that road, you'll be left behind, like swaying branches in the air, lost in confusion, filled with despair. Arguments and fallacies taken from the book of lies and deceit. There are those who will never see the gift of Logos that was given to me. And I know how water flows, and I know what level shows, and you'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know what I know. I know what I know. You don't know what you don't know. Blackpool paradox. You think it's measuring, but it's not. It's optical phenomenon. All you fools think you know what's beyond. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows, and you'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows, and you'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined.
Horizon means the line where the sky meets the earth. Yeah, that's the definition I'm going by.
All
And I'm
horizontals
saying,
are parallel to the plane of the
finish.
horizon.
Let me finish. You can't just spout your logic at me. I'm still talking.
And we are live. Coming at ya, spouting logic. That's Dawn. He's back under a different name over on Geos. Thank you, Dawn. Spouting logic. Telling you that all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. It's a fact. That fact makes all horizontals parallel to each other. It's tough, but that's the way logic works. I've just been having a message on the thingy. Kenny's back. Yeah, everyone. Kenny's back. He's not brave enough to come over and talk about it, but he is brave enough to comment on my tweets and messages on YouTube when he gets triggered every now and again. I've got this here. So Stefan's back again. You guys can see that, can you? Yeah, Stefan's back. it says on Earth, right? Establishing horizontals by using verticals at different distances between them. Makes sense, doesn't it? On Earth, establishing horizontals by using verticals at different distances between them. And let's use the ocean as the surface where the horizontals are established. Will the horizontals be parallel?
There is a problem here because nor on Earth nor on surface of the water you can establish a horizontal. Horizontals are established in the air, not on the ground or water.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you forget all of that other stuff and just take the last line that says, will the horizontals be parallel?
To
Like,
what?
You can answer that. All the horizontals will be parallel. Like, I can say that because all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. Therefore, all horizontals will be parallel to each other.
Yes, I think that he is asking, will the horizontals be parallel, but to what? In from his previous sentences, I infer that he was talking about Earth. So he is, I think, asking about horizontals being parallel.
It's got little e. It's just on the ground, right?
He is on the ground, and on the ground we cannot establish horizontal because ground is.
You can put a level on the ground, make it level.
It
You
always
can
be
do that.
above. So okay, but still, it has nothing to do with the ground. So
No, it's just about the horizontal, right? Like wherever you place the horizontal, whether it be underground in a mine, like in a cupboard, wherever, it doesn't really matter. Wherever you place it, it will always be parallel to an other horizontal. Always, every time, guaranteed.
yes, so that's why his statements about earth and water are meaningless, completely meaningless.
Yeah. I mean, you can just ignore them, right? It means nothing. Fluff. When he says, will the horizontals be parallel? Yes, quite safely, yes. They will be parallel. You'll never find a horizontal that is not parallel to another horizontal. That just won't happen.
See what he's done here?
What?
On Earth and
Yes,
ocean,
literally.
right?
Literally.
He's begged the question.
No,
right?
I think that's you. Right, it's just on Earth. It's a little e, like on the ground. It's just using Earth for on the ground. Right, so you can put a level on the ground, make it horizontal, like i.e. make it level, put the bubble in the correct position, and will it be parallel? Well, it'll be parallel to any other horizontal. Simple.
Yeah, you're stating the obvious.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is what he's trying to make people to put in people's minds. That's what I'm saying here. It's quite obvious.
Well, it's quite obvious what's in his mind. He's obviously model afflicted. And he's wanting people to look at the model. But here's the next one, right? Because Kenny's back from Blue Marble. So Kenny of the Blue Marble science crowd. He says, when have you measured all horizontals on a sphere to be parallel? I don't know who has measured all of the horizontals on a sphere. I mean, there's only really two, isn't there? One at the bottom, one at the top. And the line directly between them will be the diameter of the sphere. And it'll be perpendicular to both of the horizontals. They're going straight through the centre of the sphere. That's horizontals on a sphere. Well, the sphere would be on a horizontal and the horizontal would be on the sphere. I don't know whether you'd need to measure them to be parallel. I think you'd know that they would be parallel, right? Because they'd be on the vertical, and the vertical would be the diameter of the sphere. Would you need to measure that? I think geometrically they'd be parallel, wouldn't they?
It's like talking to a wall. These guys are starting off with a sphere, both of them. It's obvious.
And Kenny
It's just
thinks,
complete waste of time.
Kenny thinks we should document it, and I could get a Nobel Peace Prize. I think a Nobel Prize for establishing a horizontal under a sphere and a horizontal on the top. And I'm not so sure Kenny understands this Nobel sort of thing, but hey. I hope somebody doesn't get there before.
I'd say he's in the.
Go on, sorry.
I'd say he's in the Chinese room. That's just me, though.
The affliction is so high, you can smell it.
Come on in for a chat, Kenny.
Yeah.
Right, so Kenny also says, after the Nobel Prize, I don't know why he doesn't run off and get it for himself. How do you measure parallel plumb lines on a sphere, Bev?
You see?
Are you attempting to redefine all of geometry by proving plumb lines on a sphere are all parallel? Right, well, I would say, Kenny, if you got a sphere and you put a plumb line, call it tangent to the side, and you got a plumb line and you put it tangent to the other side of the sphere, then by the geometric principles of it, you would be able to put a horizontal straight through the middle and it be perpendicular to both of these plumb lines. Shockingly enough. And if you could have a plumb line going straight through the center, like we had with a horizontal plane on top and below, you could make a square, couldn't you? Like a box. You could make a box around the sphere with 4 vertical sides that would be tangent to the sphere, and then 1 horizontal plane on top and another horizontal plane on the bottom. So that would be 2 horizontal planes that would be parallel to each other, and you would have 4 vertical planes of which the pairs would be parallel to each other. The planes. So, yes, Kenny, geometry is beautiful like that. So I'm not attempting to redefine all of geometry. Like, it works quite nicely with the formulation of perpendiculars to tangents to spheres. I'm confused, Kenny, but I mean, okay. It says, groundbreaking work you're doing, Bev. Be sure to document all of it. You'll go down in the history books. It's already been done, Kenny. I'm sorry. I think you might be a bit late to the party here. It's done a fair bit ago, really. There's a guy called Euclid. You should study it. But yeah, you'd find the vertical planes and horizontal planes fit quite nicely around a sphere or a ball. In reality, like, as well. You could demonstrate it within geometry, and you could actually demonstrate it in reality too. Have you heard of a cube? Kenny, come on in, Kenny. Don't be shy. I know you're listening out there, Kenny. They think that it's me that's arguing against geometry. That's how backwards some people are. These are globe Earth heroes. So welcome everyone, and welcome Kenny and all the model afflicted that are listening. What we do is I've called this one making an argument. I'm guessing you have to build an argument around something logical, right? You have to have a reasoning process in order to make an argument. And it looks like the people that want us to make arguments aren't able to understand arguments. It's very strange. I made 2 arguments for Blue Marble and nobody's took them on as an argument. It's very strange. We've obviously got the horizontals being parallel. Argument. Never been rebutted yet. And there's some more arguments to come. But obviously, it's not worth making arguments to no one. I can't make an argument to myself and then discuss it myself. So I'll have to wait until I'm able to put arguments together within videos or whatever, really. I've been talking to a few people and asking a few questions. I think that's how to build an argument, is to be able to formulate questions to ask people. Oh, that was another thing as well. The Mike Jones and Beddy debate that I know I said it was going to be just before the coronation of the king. Well, it turns out that Beddy is a royalist and he didn't want the debate to mess up his viewing of the coronation of our new monarch. So the Beddy debate is now going to be a week later. It's going to be in like 3 weeks time or something like that. So get excited for that. It's going to be well, it's going to be called off probably. I don't think Beddy's brave enough to actually do a debate about anything like this, especially, I mean, who's going to debate down?
For me, this is like debating straight line or something like that, or debating point, or whatever.
Well, I think that's why Kenny's come back. Kenny and Stefan, they're all defending Rumpus at the minute, and the Rumpus poll. Trying to explain Wallace, obviously, the quarter Rumpus poll, inverted. And we've got Beddy and Kenny that have to be able to defend Rumpus. Because everybody knows Rumpus can't talk about his test. Although he says he's going to do a video very soon. When very soon is with Rumpus is probably never. Everybody knows what Rumpus is, useless. So I'm thinking I will have to make an argument in preparation for Rumpus making his video out, and the formulation of the argument is being helped by us in Discord. Everyone in Discord is going to be helping us do it. There's going to be Buster, Advanced Simplicity thing coming. As always, there is arguments here, but nobody wants to take them on, and nobody wants to even entertain them. because they know that the moment I make an argument, they won't be able to rebut it. So the arguments will never get said. And it's a shame. But, I mean, who wants to argue with people that don't understand arguments? Because can anyone tell us what plumb on a sphere is? I mean, you'd sort of use the sphere as the bob, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have a plumb on a sphere. It's very strange. I call it massively model afflicted. So that's what we've got to look forward to. Beddy obfuscating somebody else's argument. Well, Rumpus hasn't even made an argument. That's a shame. And to show what Rumpus is coming with the proof, I've got done some drawings and I've done some stuff in GeoGebra. But it's not really worth coming out with it yet because we're waiting for Rumpus. Now, I did say that when we went to Bedford to show some pictures and do some stuff, well, I said that Rumpus won't do his test. I said that for a reason, because Rumpus won't do his test. And we've got some footage when we went there of us taking measurements for all of the places. But you see, the way this goes is we've been there and done the measurements. Rumpus has told everybody he's already done all of this stuff. Now, if Rumpus has already done all of this stuff, why is he not putting the videos out? Why is he not telling everybody what he's done? See, I think the reason for that is that Rumpus hasn't actually done it. And what Rumpus is waiting is for us to do it. Then he can claim he's done exactly what we did. With all of the measurements and everything that we've got, he'll just say that he's already got them. So I don't really want to be putting it out. Anyone can come to the Discord, right, and view any of this stuff that will prove that Rumpus isn't going to do it. And Rumpus won't be putting his video out. That's a certainty. I think we can safely say that Rumpus hasn't got a video. I don't know if somebody's actually paid Rumpus to do any of this. I mean, I don't even know what he did. Put a poll up. And then we've been waiting for years for Rumpus to actually do anything. Now that we've been to Bedford, where's Rumpus? Where is he? Where's the team of people? He's got 13 people ready. Does anybody know any of these people? Cambridge Skeptics was a group of people that Rumpus had helping him. It's a shame. It's a shame that nobody will ever find out just how bad Rumpus. Do you think Rumpus is actually going to come out at any time and talk about it? He's been talking about. Obviously, he won't be able to talk to me about it because he says I don't understand geometry and all of that. But he is going to show Asken and SE and Mobius, I think, in a video, in a hangout, where he's going to explain the drop and the hump coexisting, and what else was there? Can anybody else remember what Rumpus said he was going to do? No, nobody can. See that's how important Rumpus is to this whole thing. Remember, it is a globe. It's definitely a globe, and the only way you can prove it is by getting yourself a Rumpus pole and elevating it into the crosshairs of an auto level 6 miles away ish. Obviously there's a few different poles. Farmer's Boy said I was being dishonest by saying that a Rumpus pole, but Rumpus has 4 or 5 different Rumpus poles, and judging by what he's going with, I think the middle one has to be higher. I think, isn't that the way it works? Middle one's higher, I think. It has to be, doesn't it? I mean, the rules of the Wallace. But, I mean, Rumpus will explain that, no doubt, in his video that he's going to do. He did the calculations as well. He said he's done all the mathematics for everyone. If you've ever seen anybody doing any mathematics for the globe, that was Rumpus. Rumpus taught everybody how to do that. He came in and told us the other day. He did all of the globe mathematics before anybody else did it. 5 or 6 years ago. Even before Robotham. I think 5 or 6 years ago must be something before Robotham. So, I don't know. Anybody got anything to say? Anything at all? No. It's embarrassing, isn't it? How embarrassing must it be for the Globe gang to have Rumpus at the helm and nobody knows what Rumpus is doing? Yet Rumpus is the one that's going to get all of the fame. Rumpus's name will be the one that goes up in lights with Robotham and Wallace. Rumpus. Even Jesse Kozlowski's been forgotten about. Nobody mentions Jesse Kozlowski's name anymore. That surveyor from that town in America somewhere, he's gone, forgotten about. What have they got? I know nobody's ever seen any globe proof. Ever. Anywhere. There isn't even an argument that can be made for the globe. And then they put Rumpus in charge. Give him some defenders like Kenny. At least for me anyway. I mean, I don't know what anybody else gets. I just get people asking me to measure plumb lines and horizontals being parallel, even though we've given them the proof that they can't rebut. But that's not good enough. It doesn't work. The fact that everybody will always be able to measure a horizontal being parallel to the plane of the horizon, no matter where they are, and all other horizontals being parallel to that, that's not good enough for some reason. It's not good enough for people to know that that's what happens in reality. They've got a model. Their model says differently. Do they have any proof or any geometric reasoning for it? No. No, they can just go around slandering people. And then, obviously, never come to defend it. They're bullshit that they've got. On a sphere, yeah. How do you make a plumb line on a sphere? Does that mean you stand on a ball with a plumb line? It's really weird, isn't it? We spent 4 years in an arena with some of the simplest claims ever, some of the most logical arguments that have ever been presented, and nobody ever has a rebuttal for any of them. Not even any sort of reason why they can't exist in reality. Just some sort of a really weird statement from a group of blue marble scientists. Don't have any geometric reasoning. Don't have any deductive logic. But I mean, who cares? Who cares? Where are all the good arguments? Where are all the debates? I know where the debates are. The debates are only between globe earthers and flat earthers. The globe earthers daren't debate anybody in reality or about reality or about arguments. They only want to debate flat earthers because they know that there's no such thing as flat earth. It doesn't exist. There's no argument that can be made for the flat earth unless you base a load of assumptions of things that are flat earth, which, I mean, what is flat earth? It's ridiculous, isn't it? Supposedly. So why does nobody have any proofs that they want to present outside of that argument? People get triggered. We've had a guy in today. He's left the server now. Long timer, old school. 10 years in it. Getting upset. Okay, so what are we going to do today then, guys? Somebody give us something to do because I'm getting bored talking about shit. Anyone got anything? You want to go over? No? Thank you.
I have no fresh topics at the moment.
Anyone in the chat got anything you want to go over? Anything you want us to go over? Yeah, Gadget with snacks. I don't know whether I had to go out after we were having the conversation, so I don't know whether he was talking to other people, but apparently he didn't like the conversation that we were having. Very strange. But that seems to be the way it goes. Nobody wants to talk to me. Quite happy to let me talk. Shit. Explain this letter from Isaac Newton to Richard Bentley. What?
Berkeley?
Explain this letter from Isaac Newton to Richard Bentley. Truth in all honesty. Which one's that one? I don't think I've even got that one. Which one's that? Which one's Truth in all honesty?
I only know about letters between Newton and Berkeley, but not Bentley. Maybe.
Wisdom. Bentley, Berkeley.
Yeah, I went on Deafin like 10 minutes ago because I thought you were going to play a Buster song.
On an intro, I did. Do we? You watch it at the beginning? I don't know.
Is my mic working?
I can hear you. Can you hear us, Rob? Is it? Maybe it's not.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, that's wisdom. Yeah, we can do that one. It's called wisdom, that
All
one.
right, I'm going back to YouTube.
I'm not playing it just yet.
Oh,
It's only...
okay.
Wow. Well, you want me to finish already?
No, absolutely not.
Blue Marble has given me... Blue Marble says, why don't you try explaining why your auto-level crosshair was so high above the bridge at Salter's Load? The bridge at Welney isn't that different in elevation, is it?
How far away was that?
Okay, I will say, I'll state this again for Blue Marble Science's benefit, right, Blue? You invalidate the surveying properties of an auto level by putting a camera on the back of it. That's why it looks so high above the bridge, because one, you're out of the range of the operating range of the auto level, and two, Blue, you invalidate the surveying properties of the auto level by putting a camera on the back of it. I can't remember how many times I've said that, Blue. But, I mean, you've got Rumpus. Rumpus has already got the footage. It shouldn't have been new to you, Blue. You should be able to use Rumpus's footage that he's already got. There's no need for you to use the stuff that I've said is invalidated by the tool. Use Rumpus's. Rumpus has validated that stuff, surely. He wouldn't be carrying on with his test if he hadn't already done it. There's no need for you to use the stuff that we've got. I mean, we did only go there to show people in the Discord what it looks like when you look through an auto level. Now, as we found out, the optic capabilities of an auto level and a mobile phone are fantastic. You can get some really good shots. Now, I know, Blue, the one that you saw, that wasn't what you think you saw. Definitely not. But hey, that's the way you go with it, Blue. You put your photos on top of other photos and do what you want. But I'd suggest wait until you watch Rumpus's video. I'm pretty sure Rumpus will be able to explain the whole thing.
Maybe put a ruler on them photos too, hey Bev? Put a ruler on them photos.
Well, Rumpus has got a Rumpus pole. He doesn't need a ruler. But Rumpus has actually made the real thing. A Rumpus pole. Yeah, Blue Marble, you were meant to be doing a live stream with Rumpus about this. I've got it all sat there. We've been over it. We've been over the heights of all of the different places. So we know what we're doing. I hope you do as well, Blue. The principles of it, because that's where we're going to be going after this. You have to be able to represent it within a demonstration. And the demonstration should definitely come with a geometric demonstration. And then there should be a real life demonstration, which is what Rumpus has already filmed. What you could do, Blue, compare that photo that you've got from us and the auto level that we did, and compare that with the one that Rumpus has give you, the one that you viewed of Rumpus's, Blue. Put them side by side. Compare. Contrast. I mean, our auto level is a 32 times scope. I think Rumpus said his was a 24, but I can't be sure because Rumpus is known to lie. What you best do is ask Rumpus what the specs for his auto level were when he did this. Okay. Blue Marble says, is the auto level no longer level because of the camera, Bev? Ask Rumpus. Rumpus should be able to tell you. What property of the auto level is being invalidated, Bev? It's the surveying capability of the auto level, Blue. You don't put cameras on the back of auto levels to do surveying. That's because, right, only surveyors normally do surveying. But if you put a camera on the back of it, right, one, screws around with the optics, obviously, because you've got a couple of lenses that are close to each other and it's hard for it to focus on one or the other. And then, right, then you've got the problem of armchair globe surveyors that look at pictures and imagine that they're surveying when they're not. They're just looking at a picture that's through an auto level that's been invalidated as a surveying tool because you put a camera on the back of it. So it stops people from being able to just look at pictures and then imagine that they're surveying. It's not how you do surveying, Blue. You don't do surveying by looking at pictures that you see on the internet. That's not how surveyors work. Never has been and never will be. I'm not making excuses, Blue. I'm telling you the truth. You do not put these things on auto levels. In fact, let me see if I can. I will just do this. think it's a WordPress. There we go. There's a guy called Jesse Kozlowski. He's not around very much anymore. There we go. This is a thing. Oh, check this out. Look, I'll put this in the chat first. You see this? I hope everybody else gets their own ones as well. And this is the Try Thinking certificate for me finishing the Introduction to Western Philosophy course. Look at that. That's not that's real blue. That I didn't have to, you know, didn't have to do a Fight the Flat Earth and go and get fake certificates or anything. I got that today. Finished the course. Let me get this here now. Right, Blue. Check this out. You'll like this. I think he's your mate, isn't he? Jesse. You know, I mean, you've said you've had a chat with him, but you did say you'd watch Rumpus's videos, so I don't know whether we can trust you or not, Blue. I think sounds like you're full of shit, to be honest. It says here, Jesse Kozlowski is a guy. He's got a WordPress thing, so, you know, he might be a real surveyor. Probably not, but, I mean, he's gone away now. You've got no chance of asking him. It says, note, taking photographs through surveying instrument telescopes is not standard surveying practice and is not to be confused with making surveying measurements using those instruments. These pictures were only taken to share the view observed through the instrument telescope. Now that comes from Jesse Kozlowski, who is Blue Marble Science's friend, he says. Blue Marble Science says he can talk to Jesse Kozlowski whenever he wants about the hump in the bridge of Lake Pontchartrain, 90 foot, yeah, 90 foot hump in the middle. So there you go, Blue Marble. There's no, where's the curvature, Blue? Just, you don't take pictures through surveying instruments. It just doesn't happen. And as you know that we did not make any measurements, Blue, so therefore no measurements were taken. And taking a picture, you surely can't make a measurement through the picture that we took. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Blue. You cannot do surveying through pictures taken through these surveying instruments because that's not surveying, Blue Marble Science. Now, I have said this many, many, many times. I'm pretty sure most people should know that. At least that's what I've been saying. I'm pretty sure. Do you not know that, Blue? Did you actually think that you could take measurements from somebody taking a picture through the back of an auto level? That'd be really ridiculous. For, like Askin says, a retired engineer? Nah. That'd be embarrassing, Blue. Blue Marble Science. And the Blue Marble Science surveyors.
By the way, we have this perspective drop. So if he's talking about something dropping, he's ignoring
Don't think he
perspective.
said drop. I don't think he said drop.
No,
No, he's just said curve. I think he.
yeah.
I don't think Blue
Oh.
Marble knows what the drop is, to be honest.
Okay.
Rumpus pole.
So even without drop, so that would be a very imaginary curve. If there is no drop, so how someone can infer any curve from that? That's for me another conundrum.
Oh, listen to this as well. What have we got? We've got a Blue Marble Science, haven't we? There we go. This is what Blue Marble Science said.
Yeah, an auto level is useless for surveying.
An auto level is useless for surveying, yet Blue Marble wants to use a picture taken through an auto level. That's amazing, Blue. How can you be so hypocritical? How can a retired engineer, I doubt that for a second. Well, I don't doubt it. Maybe you do doubt it. Who knows? Let's say both, right? Perhaps Blue Marble's bullshitting. Perhaps Blue Marble is actually a surveyor. Perhaps Blue Marble is the guy that said that he's never performed a 2-peg test with an auto level. Perhaps that Blue Marble Science, the one that we have in our live chat right now, is the one that said that the water level slopes away. Perhaps that Blue Marble is the Blue Marble that says he has a proof that the water level isn't horizontal. He's never shown it. So I think that Blue Marble is bullshitting. I think all of his friends as well, Kenny, I think Rumpus, I think they're all just bullshitting. They've got nothing. They've got no argument. All they can do is just have a go at insulting. They've not even got their experts, Jesse Kozlowski. What did Blue say? Blue said, perfect, Bev. As Jesse said, Earth curvature plainly visible. Well, I can see curvature. I see it all over the place. Nobody thinks you're surveying, Bev. Well, no, because we were doing optics. We were just sussing out the optics of an auto level. And nobody claimed to be doing any surveying. Blue. In fact, we even did a 2-peg test with the auto level to show why you can't put a camera on the back of an auto level. But you wouldn't know that, Blue, because you've never done a 2-peg test. You don't even know what one is. Rumpus doesn't even know what one is. George didn't even know what one is. So that just goes to show how sad you are. You don't know how to in the first place. But the observation shows curvature. Which observation, Blue? I think you're getting mixed up. I'll show you the... show us where the curvature is in the blood's thicker. The observation there shows curvature, apparently, to Blue Marble Science. Because Blue Marble can put pictures on top of other pictures taken from different places. Strangely enough, he's never shown any pictures from Rumpus. Isn't that weird? Even though he has seen them, he said he's seen them. He said that Rumpus, he backed Rumpus when Rumpus said he'd shown Blue Marble and others. And Blue Marble backed him, saying he had actually seen Rumpus's video. and pictures that he's taken. Nobody else has. Strange that Blue Marble Science had to use the pictures that we took when we went there. That's right. The On the Level crew went to Bedford again. And we live streamed the thing. We spent the whole day there. Live streaming stuff. We live streamed the video. The laser stuff of the night time. We've got plenty of footage. Plenty of camera stuff. I'm still waiting to put it all together. I'm waiting really for Rumpus. I don't want to take Rumpus's limelight. I want Rumpus to be putting his test out. It's like trying to get Ranty up a hill with an auto level, trying to get Rumpus to put his video out. It's near impossible. That's sort of like getting a camel through the eye of a needle. Is getting Ranty up a hill with an auto level, or getting Rumpus to put his video out about his test. Three things that are a bit equivalent, I think. Blue's going, show the video through the auto level, Bev. Then he can say, look, there's a curve. Rumpus has got some video, Blue. Go and watch that. I don't think you don't need to see the video that we've got, or you can come in the Discord. If you come in this Discord, Blue, I will put it on for you. I will give you a showing. You had who else was in here all day watching it? What's he called? No, Brad, the science guy. He was in here. Did he not make any video for you, Blue? Did he not take any pictures or anything? Why did you not get somebody in here to record it, Blue? Well, why are you saying that you want me to show it you? We said to you earlier, right? Before we went, we said to everybody, we're going to Bedford. Now, I can't record it because I'm going to be there. So I can't click record on my Discord stream to do it. Come on in to Discord. Then you can record it for yourself. We said that. No, I'm not afraid, Blue. There's no fear. I've got the footage. You've got the footage of Rumpus. You must be scared. You must have been scared for 2 years. See how scared Blue Marble is for showing Rumpus's stuff. Rumpus must be shitting himself. He's never shown anyone how scared he is. Works both ways, that, Blue. If we've already shown the footage, Blue, right, to anyone, and we'll show it to anybody that comes into Discord, if we've already done that, then we're not scared of anything. But the thing that nobody's ever seen is Rumpus's stuff. Rumpus must be shit scared. And you as well, Blue. You've seen it. You've never shown anyone. I'll put this GIF up as well, Blue. Look how scared we are. Watch this. Watch this footage, Blue. And then say how scared we are. We're going back again, you know. Got all sorts of tests going. I don't know who wants to see all of the footage, but we will be going back and we will be doing more tests. If anybody wants to get involved with any of the tests we are going to be doing at Bedford, we'll show you how easy it is to do this sort of stuff. It would be really easy for us to just put a couple of poles on either side. Put a line across the centre at the same height. It wouldn't make any difference, though. You'd still just be looking at it. It's just optics. Nobody's scared of anything, Blue. I'm definitely not scared of any of the geometric understanding that has to go with these things. I have a geometric proof, and I even have a reductio ad absurdum waiting for you. No, it'll never happen, and everybody knows that Rumpus will never do it. Blue Marble's doing the same thing that he did for Ranty. The same thing that Ranty did when Ranty wouldn't go up the hill to do it. Rumpus will not do it. I'm not, Blue, we're not scared. What have we got to be scared of? So sad, Blue. So sad. Where's Rumpus's footage, Blue? Are you scared? I'm sure everybody can remember seeing the auto level footage that we did. Can you see the little bit down the way there in front as we go past it in this footage there? There's a little concrete bit at the side. Come and have a chat, Blue. I'll go over all of the positions where we were. If you'd have been in here watching and listening, like Rumpus was, because Rumpus did come in. He came in to have a look at us when we were measuring the lock gates at the other end.
And why the top of this lock gate or sluice is dropping when camera is zooming out, for example. This may explain this alleged drop and curve or whatever. But it has to be discussed in detail without putting a ruler on that. Or maybe Blue Marble Science can put on blood thicker footage to measure anything in Discord. Because seemingly it helps to Blue Marble likes to put rulers on pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's a good enough zoom for anybody to realise that we can actually get footage, better footage than Wallace ever got already. But what are you talking about, Blue? Blue Marble Science has said, you don't want to show the crosshair 8 feet above the top of your 16-foot rod, do you, Bev? That's pretty inconvenient for you, I would say. Well, you're right, Blue. We didn't have a rumpus pole big enough for you to imagine we got the full nutsack drop in there. I don't know whether everybody's aware of this new globe surveying technique of the rumpus pole. Does everybody understand what a rumpus pole is? What the purpose of a rumpus pole is?
Purpose. I don't know what is purpose, but it is between two bridges, I think, and it's there to show something. Maybe hump or maybe drop. I don't know, but
Well,
it is there.
let's take it, right? You know, an auto level, right? And you know a measuring rod,
Yes.
right? So let's say you've got an auto level and you've got a measuring rod. Now, what is the purpose of the measuring rod when you're using it with an auto level?
To measure
What are you measuring?
vertical distance in millimeters with accuracy to 1 millimeter or even less.
From the horizontal crosshair, right, to the land. You're measuring that distance on the measuring rod, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you measure a change in that, what are you measuring a change in?
Change of elevation
Of the land, right?
So yes, height.
Okay, so a measuring rod, when used with an auto level, measures an elevation change in the land. Okay? That's
Sure.
the measuring rod. Well, everybody's okay with that. Blue, can I check that that's sort of a thing with Blue? Can I get a okay for everybody in the chat and Blue? That a measuring rod measures the elevation changes of the land. Now, a rumpus pole. Can a rumpus pole measure an elevation change?
No, it cannot because it is in one place and it is not moving.
Okay, and the
So you
elevation
cannot-
has to stay the same.
Yes.
Okay, so
you cannot measure change of elevation.
So the difference between a measuring rod and a rumpus pole is that a measuring rod is used within the operating range and has to be measured and measures an elevation change. Whereas a rumpus pole gets used outside the range of an ordinary measuring rod and it measures a not change in elevation. This is the difference between a measuring rod and a rumpus pole. A rumpus pole gets used beyond the limits of the surveying tool when they would be using a measuring rod, and that measuring rod would measure elevation changes. A rumpus pole cannot measure an elevation change because supposing that you have an elevation change of level would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
It would.
So there you go. That's what Blue Marble Science is advocating for here, is the rumpus pole length in the distance that he can imagine is a not elevation change. So it's like you need a 17-foot pole to measure a not elevation change in the distance outside the operating range of the actual tool. It's very good. This Blue Marble Science surveying, armchair surveying method of waiting for other people to take pictures or whatever, and then using those pictures to do this Blue Marble Science surveying. That's what we're doing. That's the rumpus pole. Rumpus will definitely be making it much more clear when he does his videos. And Blue Marble Science, having seen the footage from Rumpus, knows where this Rumpus's videos are going, and that's probably why he's in the chat here, trying to drum up some support for Rumpus. Yeah, The rumpus pole definitely needs to go into Wikipedia. Did you know, right? There's a debate going on at the minute whether a rumpus pole is the unit, or whether you're going to say a rumpus pole is 4 times the Wallace. It's hard to tell because they're using the quadratic formula. People should know geometrically that a rumpus pole is 4 times as big as the Wallace hump. The full nutsack drop is 4 times larger than the Wallace hump, or we're going to call it, I think, the Blue Marble Science hump of Lake Pontchartrain. Since Jesse's gone, and since George has had his day and Rumpus has taken all of that for him, we might as well say that Lake Pontchartrain hump is Blue Marble Sciences, and Rumpus is going to go for the full nutsack drop, invalidating Blue Marble Science and his hump. It's a battle, really, between Rumpus and Blue Marble Science. Who will come out on top? Obviously, Blue Marble Science goes in the upwards direction above the chord, above the horizontal tangent plane chord that he's had in his video. But Rumpus and Blue Marble, you think it's me that's got the nutsack problem? No, Blue, that's definitely yours. The Rumpus pole, everybody knows this. The Rumpus pole measures the nutsack drop over the total distance. It's just terminology that you'll have to get used to. And yes, it may seem like we're making it up, but if there isn't actually a term for it, then what else do you have to do? I think the credit should go to the people that have invented this stuff. And that, the full nutsack drop was definitely George. Or even though Rumpus decided he wanted to take it off him, claim all of the mathematics. Blue Marble says he should really see someone about that nutsack problem. The problem is, Blue, nobody can talk about it. I've been asking people. Not even Rumpus can talk about it. There's no one can conjure up the imagination to find out what exactly Rumpus is doing. And it's a shame, because I've got the rhetoric. If you want me to explain it all, I can do that for you. There are some complications, though, that I don't know whether Rumpus has took you over the mathematical implications of it. Because I have vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. And I think most people do. So childish, Blue. So childish. It's because he's seen Rumpus's footage. He's acting all cocky. He knows that Rumpus is going to come out and destroy us with his mathematics. It's proof of globe and the nutsack drop. The Rumpus pole. It's strange, isn't it? There's no rumpus, it's just Blue. Have they left you to do it on your own, Blue, tonight? Seems a shame. It's unfortunate. And my son's just sent me a message. Apparently now on Discord, you have to watch out that you can hide links. So be aware of people, what you're clicking on, because there could be a hidden link in your Discord channels. Word to the wise. Everybody take note. Be aware. We'll try and keep them out of this Discord, so you should be okay in here. But that's if you're in any other Discord servers, just be aware that there is a way to hide links now within the chat. And anytime anybody wants to come and talk about this, geometric problems of the blue marble scientists, I don't know whether anybody's informed them about deductive logic, how geometry actually uses deductive logic, and how foreign that is to the blue marble scientist. They've never been used to using that. Yeah, the problem is the rumpus pole should be perpendicular, but we just can't work out what it's going to be perpendicular to. Gets a little bit tricky. I think Mike's going to have a debate with Beddy about it, though, and Beddy'll... Mike, I know you're out there on the YouTube. Have you said about anything? I mean, I know you're doing down, but would that down have any geometric properties that we can have as an axiom? Or I don't know. Like, I don't know how you're forming your arguments with a proofless logician. I don't know. Yeah. I think when we were doing that, those birds were pretty close to the other end. I don't know if Bloods is here or not. But yeah, we could see those birds. I've got some other footage, and we can see a boat, a bridge, a van going over the bridge looking from the other side. I wonder whether that... Do you want to see that? Whether that would appease Blue. What do you reckon? Let's have a look. See if I can get this. Right. You want to see some... Want to see some more auto level footage, Blue? Look in the opposite direction. He's gone. I bet he's gone running.
By the way, this one footage is just killing any claims of dropping horizontal or dropping level or curve or whatever. Because you can see in this picture that this top of this sluice gate, this first one, if zoom out, is even lower than this far away one. So they are changing in place because of zooming. So it means that they are on the same, roughly on the same line or level, let's say, and this line is straight, because otherwise they couldn't be on. They couldn't replace each other in the picture. I'm talking about picture. So there is no drop, real drop of anything or curve or of anything here. In this very, very simple and short footage with zooming, you can easily disprove any claim of globe and curving level or dropping from horizontal or whatever with this one footage.
Do you reckon that's looking the opposite way? That's looking back when we do the reciprocal, like we call it. Just means looking back from the other side. It's so you can see in that picture there, you can see the bridge. Let me get the camera here.
This is on live chat also.
Oh wait, shit! Let me get that. There you go. For you guys in Discord, we did show this. This is footage recorded through Discord from in America. Buster kindly recorded this for us, this footage. So this is the footage from the auto level on the other bridge at Salter's Load, looking back towards the GIF that you've just watched, the bridge. That's the little crosshair that you can see in the well, this little bit here, that's the sluice gate at the other end.
And of course, Blue Marble Science would argue why this crosshair is above trees. It should be on the same level in the picture. No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
There you go. Now I think we might do the focus thing. If we get to do that, then that might help you out a little bit. So this is just me messing about with the different pictures on the different colours on my camera to see whether we could get a better contrast between them, the different colours. And this was pretty early on in the day, this, I think, because the conditions are, you can see it's wobbling about all over the place, the image that's in it. And remember, it is an image through an auto level. The auto level from Datum only cost me £100. Obviously, the mobile phone camera is just an average mobile phone. Anyone can have these sort of things. Right, zooming round to have a bit of a look. You can see that it's always
trees which are farther, they are lower. If he's doing this span around, so trees which are closer to observer, they are higher, and trees which are farther, they are lower. So it means that this bridge, another bridge, has to be visually lower, because it is very distant. So that's why this tree is higher in the picture, and because it is closer to observer. But when camera is looking at the on the canal through the canal at other bridge, the trees are lower in the picture because and they are smaller and lower because they are farther. This is what perspective is doing in the picture.
Okay,
So
what's
it has
this as well then, right? I don't know whether you've ever seen this before. This is focus. Watch what happens.
yes, this camera is going crazy because it is automatic focus, so it's going crazy, I think.
That's focusing on the auto level. But look
Yes,
what's happening to the image, right? It's going up
yes,
and
yes,
down.
because it's changing length of focal point. Yes, this is what is happening. So it changes perspective completely. This changing of focal point. So yes, so that would be another proof what optics is doing, changing focal point is doing with perspective. It's changing. It would change even I would say position of horizon can change in the picture.
Due to the focus.
Yes, the focal point. Yes.
Blue Marble says, you should do a 2-peg test with the camera mounted on the auto level to show us why it isn't accurate. Yes, Blue, we did. If you'd have been in the Discord, for one, you would have seen how to perform a 2-peg test, which we know that you've never done for yourself. I don't know whether you've ever even bothered researching it, so you actually know what it is. But if you were in the Discord while we were doing it, we did show you why you don't do put a camera on the back of an auto level, because Blue, it invalidates the 2-peg test. That's right, Blue. Yes, it does. The 2-peg test doesn't work when you have a camera on the back of the auto level. If you'd have come in, Blue, you'd have seen that. Like everybody in the Discord already knows. And yes, Blue, we did record it. We did. So nice of you to come up with the idea of something we've already done. Did you hear us saying that, Blue? And think, oh, that's a good idea. What I'll do is I'll tell them that that's what they should do. What you should do, Blue, show everybody how you know how to do a 2-peg test, and you perform a 2-peg test with a camera on the back of the auto level, so you can show us how you think it's accurate. You'd be able to show everybody that you do actually know how to perform a 2-peg test, because I don't think anybody believes that Blue Marble can do a 2-peg test. Blue Marble science, that is. Any Blue Marble scientist. I don't think Blue Marble scientists can actually use these geometric tools. No, you've told us, Blue. Like, if Blue, if you've told us that you've never done a 2-peg test, then you're saying that's sarcasm. Well, I'd call it a lie, Blue. If you're saying that you've never done it, but you think you have done it, then you've lied to us, Blue. And you're admitting to lying to us, which is a typical Blue Marble science tactic. I mean, I've known that you're a lying shit for quite a while, Blue. But I mean, it's nice for you to come out and admit it. Blue, you haven't got a clue about anything. And it's nice for you to know about all of these terms of double rodding, even though you've never performed a 2-peg test. Anytime you want, Blue. You've got an auto level. You've told us, unless you were lying about that. Perhaps you haven't got the auto level that you told us that you have got, that you've never performed a 2-peg test on. Perhaps you were lying about both of those things that you've told us, Blue. It must be tough, Blue. I don't want to have a go at you, Blue, but you are the one that's coming in here telling us that you've done all of this stuff. You're the one that's told us that you've never performed a 2-peg test. Whether it was joking or not, it doesn't really matter. You have definitely said that. I think we showed why George had to leave the arena with the double rodding. It's too much. It's too much for a blue marble scientist's brain to take. It drives people mad trying to work it out. Oh, you've got a dumpy. Is it not an auto? It's a proper old school one. And you've never performed a 2-peg test, Blue.
What is dumpy level?
It's just another term for an auto level, as far as I know. But it's like Blue Marble's going to say it's got a coincidence bubble on it. You know, like it's an old school, let's say, and you have to level it precisely without it going into the auto position, right? There's a compensator in an auto level. Blue Marble, I think he's saying he has no compensator within his auto level. It's like an antique. Is that right, Blue? Is that why you've never performed a 2-peg test with it? Because it was a bit too hard to set it up? It's only horizontal in the middle. Yeah. It's only horizontal where you set the tool up. The crosshair, to a blue marble scientist, isn't horizontal. Or is it horizontal? It's one of these ones where there's a massive contradiction. And can you see that, Blue? You're not making any comments about that, are you? Is that good enough for you, Blue? Can you see that? Can you measure that? Did Rumpus measure the trees at the other end for his Rumpus pole? Or is that why he decided not to do the reciprocal measurements, is it? Because I think there's like a car drives over the bridge and you can see where the bridge is, the level of the bridge. And it's sort of underneath the sluice gates. Sluice gates, I don't know what to call them.
This measurement would be very, very complicated because without knowing focal length, and it is using optics, it is very, very hard to establish this, let's say, perspective shrinking within a picture. And I would say that this is impossible. to measure anything with a comparison to distance. So this is like putting a ruler on the picture, but without knowing focal length, it is just nonsense. So
yeah, you don't ever measure anything, right? We're in the range of a rumpus pole, and as we know, rumpus poles measure a zero elevation change, right? So all you need is a distance that you put in there to measure the zero elevation change.
yes, I know, but still, if you are changing, as you have shown with your own footage, this pole in the picture can be lower or higher due to perspective if you are using different, for example, focal length. So it has to be in specification what focal length was used and how this focal length is translating into perspective and then into some height, because without it will tell you nothing. Because as we have seen here, with the changing focal length, you can change the position, the height, apparent height of the object in the picture. So if he is doing this with his rumpus pole and then measuring with the ruler, as Blue Marble Science and Ranti did, so it will tell them nothing. Because without knowing this focal length and how is perspective dropping here in their picture, actually, they will have always false reading from that. So it is impossible.
Mike's pointing out now, it's even Mike's noticed that we've definitely got footage of Blue saying that he's never performed a 2-peg test. And now he's claiming that he's done it more times than me. And Blue Marble doesn't know how many times I've done a 2-peg test.
But he knows that more than you. Yes.
Yeah, he knows that he's done it more than me, even though we've got him recorded saying that he's never done a 2-peg test. Let me see if I can find that, just so everybody can hear.
Maybe since that day he made multiple 2-peg tests.
He might have done a load. Yeah, he might have just been doing 2-peg tests
day and night.
Days,
Yes.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
Be right back.
Okay. Blue's internal tangent plane. And auto levels useless. Oh, here we go. 23 seconds. Right, so this is coming in the YouTube. I will just put it back onto Discord for everyone. See, this is a clip. Yeah. Listen.
Sorry, say it again.
Is it an old level that you've got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a level. It's just an optical level.
Have you ever done a 2-peg test with it?
No, I can't remember ever doing one, Bill.
Can't ever remember doing one. Now, it may be something about age and he's just sort of losing his memory, but he seems to have regained his memory and now he's done loads of them. Wow, Blue's going full on. Blue Marble says Mobius is a fine example of a proper nutsack trainee. That's Blue Marble saying that. All plumb lines diverge, so technically a carpenter's level is perpendicular to the plumb line passing through the center of the bubble. I'm going to have to get that one. That's it. Let's get that as a clip. Too good, Blue. Thank you very much. I'll put this in the video for us. For Mobius. Where is Rumpus? Like, why is Rumpus not coming and helping you here, Blue? Why is he leaving you to do all of this stuff? Like, how many times do you think Rumpus has done a 2-peg test? Do you think Rumpus knows how to do a 2-peg test? Blue? Did you see when Blue Marble showed you his video? When Rumpus showed you his video footage of all of the stuff that he's done when he was at Bedford, did he do a 2-peg test with a camera on the back of the auto level to show you how accurate an auto level is with a camera on it? Especially when performing a 2-peg test. Or to show you that it doesn't invalidate the surveying capabilities of an auto level by strapping a camera on the back of it. I think Blue Marble, what Blue Marble's going with there is the bubble level when placed on like LIGO. With LIGO being a long, massive straight edge. Blue Marble thinks that you can place a bubble level on it and the bubble will change. It'll move to the outside. Is that right? The bubble moves to the side that you're going to on LIGO. Is that right? I don't know. You'll have to have a word with Blue Marble to find out where the bubble is in the center on LIGO, on a straight thing like that. Whereabouts do we put the bubble in the center? Mobius is right. Blue Marble does imagine that you can't project a straight line with a level. It's impossible, actually. I'm pretty sure the Blue Marble scientists get all of their geometric information from us. Times like this. Those levels are not that accurate. Carpenter's levels aren't that accurate. Auto levels aren't tools for surveying. Is that right, Blue?
Yeah, an auto level is useless for surveying.
And apparently Carpenter's level as well. That is right, isn't it, Blue?
Yeah, an auto level is useless for surveying.
See, Blue doesn't even think an auto level's any good for surveying. I don't know what they are actually useful for. Could anybody think of the purpose of an auto level?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say something about the carpenter's level. You know that they actually tell you their accuracy on them. The one I have in my hand says its accuracy is 0.0039 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. So looks like you've got a bit of a confirmation there, Blue. So we've got
Yeah, an auto level is useless for surveying.
auto levels are useless for surveying, and carpenter's levels aren't accurate either.
So he cannot measure curve because this curve or drop or whatever would be inside of margin of error. So you just cannot measure any drop and say that this drop is real, because it may be drop due to accuracy margin. And so it would invalidate any experiment, because if someone is performing experiment and he has margin of error and his reading is inside of this margin of error, experiment is failed. So sorry. It means that Blue Marble Science and Jesse Kozłowski and whoever cannot say that this drop in optics is real drop from horizontal or it is curve, because it would be inside of margin of error. So any physicist.
Oh, did we lose paper? Is that okay? Is everybody hear me? Did we?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Blue Marble says, how well can you turn angles with your auto level, Bev? And if you can't, other than running a level line or finding elevations, what else can you do with it? It's an auto level, Blue. It's used for measuring elevation changes. That's what an auto level does. Strange that you don't understand that, Blue. And measuring elevations is the entire z-axis in surveying. This is the tool that measures elevation changes, Blue. Why do you think that's not surveying? Who's told you that it isn't surveying? Who's told you that auto levels aren't tools for surveying? And I'm keen to know that, Blue. It's fantastic. I hope it wasn't Rumpus that told you. Maybe somebody else, I don't know. Maybe one of the other guys that aren't around anymore. Maybe they dumped a load of bullshit information on you and then did a runner. Maybe somebody like Jesse Kozłowski. Possibly. Who's that other one? Larry Scott, the guy that told my son that triangles have more than 180 degrees in reality.
I have failure of Discord for a moment, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure what come out from me.
I think you only just started, really. So
okay, so I said that if the experiment is reading of experiment or test or whatever is inside of margin of error, that would invalidate any measurement. So if Blue Marble Science is saying that there is a drop or curve or whatever within optics, and this optics is inaccurate because auto level is not enough accurate, and Carpenter's level also. So you cannot say that this drop or curve is due to is in reality, because if it is inside margin of error, it invalidates any measurement. So he should better mark his words, because if he's saying that auto level is not accurate enough, it means that Jesse Kozłowski and this surveyor from Maine, or maybe not from Maine, they couldn't do that.
No, they used theodolites.
So even worse, I would say, for measurements.
But they're no good at measuring elevations, that's for sure. The auto level measures the elevations. The theodolites measure the horizontal angles for positions and points and locations. If you're after elevation changes, then you use an auto level. Blue Marble should know that, and I think he does actually. It's unfortunate that Jesse Kozlowski came in and told everybody a load of bullshit and then disappeared, because now everybody thinks that Jesse Kozlowski was actually a real surveyor. And it's a shame, because he's left people like Blue Marble Science defending this stuff. I mean, it's as though Blue Marble Science is sort of a guy who orchestrated this Jesse Kozlowski thing. The way that Blue Marble Science feels that it's his responsibility to come and do all of this.
But by saying that auto level, which is considered as most accurate device, is not enough, it means he is killing his own pseudo argument here. So,
well,
I don't know.
There is only Blue Marble Science that's doing this, right? Nobody else gives a shit. Not even Rumpus or anybody from the Globe side. They don't care that Blue Marble's talking shit, or that Rumpus has got a test that isn't really real and nobody knows how to explain what Rumpus is doing. I mean, look at Blue Marble. He doesn't know how to explain what Rumpus's test is. He's just here telling us that auto levels don't work for surveying.
If auto level doesn't work for surveying, it means that it could not work for their experiment also. So what the point?
He's here. Is this what Blue Marble's saying? This has been told to him by a not surveyor. Right? There's no way a surveyor has told Blue Marble this. I'll put it in the chat. This here, Blue Marble says a theodolite does at least as well as an auto level for leveling Bev. It doesn't. There's an auto level for a reason, Blue, because that's the most accurate for measuring elevation changes. There's two different tools. And the auto level is much more accurate than a theodolite for finding elevation changes. You would know that if you've ever phoned up a place to work out which is the best tool for the job. The best tool for measuring elevation changes is an auto level. And luckily enough for all of us people that want to do this, they're cheap as well. They don't cost as much as a theodolite. That's because they're not as technical. You get a good one with a good optics and in calibration, then way more accurate Blue Marble Science. You should know this. Blue Marble Scientist. If you call yourself a Blue Marble Scientist, Blue, you should know about measuring elevation changes in reality. It's ridiculous that you're coming into a Discord chat and a YouTube chat. You never come into the Discord. That's ridiculous. You stick in your own Discord channel, don't you? Hide away. Talking shit. Now you're coming into the YouTube chat telling everybody that inaccurate facts from somebody who's claimed to never have done a 2-peg test. But now you're saying you have done many of them. You sound like, I don't know, Blue. I mean, you are of a certain age. You were, let's say, you're past booming, I would say. Maybe you're becoming a little bit forgetful. Maybe. Just as a possibility. I'm putting it out there. But I'm guessing if somebody's known about doing a 2-peg test more than I have, but you know it's not, well, it is as accurate as a theodolite. So that it's well worth getting an auto level, especially when you see how good the optics are when you put a camera on it. I mean, I was thinking whether we could get rid of the crosshairs and see what sort of picture we can get with the auto level and compare that with the P1000. Because we might even be able to put a Barlow lens on it as well. I don't know whether the focus will work good enough or see what the range is like. But it seems like the picture is a quality comparable with the P1000. I was shocked at how good the optics through the auto level were, to be honest. And again, I'd have to say that I don't think anybody's ever done that. I don't think there's anybody that's ever been to Bedford and including Rumpus. Don't think there's ever been anybody else other than me that's took an auto level to Bedford, put a camera on the back of it and filmed footage from both bridges, reciprocal footage, to show people exactly what you see through an auto level from each bridge at Bedford. Imagine that. Imagine me being the only person that's done that. When Rumpus is proposing to do a test using an auto level on one of the bridges, yet nobody has ever seen any of his footage. That's amazing. You mean an altitude angle, Blue, do you? You don't mean an elevation angle. You mean an altitude angle. But we'll let you off, Blue. Or maybe this is the Rumpus pole. Is the elevation angle the Rumpus, how you devise the Rumpus pole length, Blue? Theodolites are accurate in elevation angle to 0.3 arc seconds. You do know that George said that the crosshair was 2 arc seconds, right, Blue? So the accuracy of a theodolite is much more accurate than the thickness of a crosshair of the theodolite.
Impossible.
Now, Blue Marbles wrote it. How could it be impossible?
By
Probably
the way,
somebody's told him who isn't around here anymore.
and by the way, according to what Rob said, theodolite is much less accurate than carpenter's level, seemingly.
An altitude angle, Blue. Pretty sure. Elevation is the land, Blue. The land. How can you have an elevation angle? Blue, what you mean is an altitude angle. Even geometrically, it's called an altitude. You should know this, Blue. You're proposing to be an engineer. Please, Blue. Who's who? We didn't go to Nutsack School, Blue. That was you. George did come to us to try and explain your model through the surveying principles. He didn't quite finish it. I was hoping that Rumpus and you guys were gonna honor George. You didn't even make a video about it. That must have been really embarrassing, Blue. McToons does a video for Bob. Was Blue... I bet Blue wasn't even invited, was he? Was Blue in the McToon video? They might be a different group, you know. Or did you turn it down, Blue? Did you turn down a role in the Bob video that McToon did? Fight the Flat Earth. Red's Rhetoric. Even that Dave McKeegan, is it? He was in it. I don't know whether Blue was in it. Did anybody see Blue Marble Science in the Bob condolences video that McToon did? Anybody watch that?
I didn't watch that.
No. I don't think Blue was in it. It's a shame. It's a shame that they went to the lengths to make that video, but did nothing for George. For all the things that George did for the Globe, you guys did nothing. But McToon did the thing for Bob. It's a shame. So, Blue, were you happy about the auto level, the reciprocal auto level? You see it. We get Rumpus's video. It'll be out soon. Hopefully Rumpus can get his video out before we get our videos explaining the nutsack drop and the Rumpus pole, the position of the Rumpus pole. We just need to clear up whether the Rumpus pole is perpendicular to the horizontal from the auto level, or whether it's perpendicular to the position that it's at. It's hard to tell. We need the Blue Marble scientist to let us know. whoever the expert is for the Rumpus poll and the geometry. I think that was Rumpus that claimed that. But to be honest with you, don't think Rumpus is going to come back again. I think Rumpus is gone. He's done a Jesse Kozlowski. It's about time that Rumpus did a Jesse Kozlowski. Blue Marble's got it from here, obviously. Let's see, I'll get this. I've got one there that says telling QE it's not flat. Do you want to hear that? I'll have to get that. I'm not a flat earther. That's because the earth is not flat.
Yeah.
Right? So how can I have a proof that the earth is flat if I know for certain the earth is not flat?
The earth is flat. That's your big problem.
There you go. If everybody was sure that. Me, Bev, telling QE that the earth is not flat. Thank you very much. Has Blue Marble got a video clip of him telling QE that the earth's not flat? I doubt it. I don't think he's brave enough. Let me find this elevation altitude that I did. Probably in the Euclid thing. Maybe not. Oh, Blue Marble is still hosting the Mike Jones and Betty debate. So hopefully Blue Marble winds his sort of live streaming capability up and not just opens himself up for the debate. Yeah, I don't mind admitting that I quite like George. He obviously couldn't talk to the Blue Marble scientists about this stuff. And he obviously didn't talk to the Blue Marble scientists about any of this. Double rodding. Let me get a level here. I think it must be in the level one. Waffling. Oh, I had it the other day. Maybe in the... No, if I can't find it, I don't know where it is. Oh, there you go. There you go, for you, Blue. The altitude is above the land and the elevation is of the land. And for somebody who's looking there, if the Earth's not flat, then what is it? It's not flat. It's all sorts of different shapes. Have you never seen it? Surely you must have seen. It's pretty obvious that it's not flat. Because it's measured not flat. There are tools that measure elevation changes. There being an elevation change designates a not flat. It's a pretty simple thing for us to understand in reality. Most people do understand that it's not flat, right? And because it doesn't need calculations to work out. It's sort of a visual thing, because what flat is a visual surface signifier, right? And if you can see that something isn't flat, well, you're pretty much safe in saying that that's not flat. You can touch it if you want and feel the protuberances and lumps and bumps and all of that. So it's an altitude, the normal term, Blue. Even within geometry. Do you want me to get you that? I will. I'll get you. I'll see if I can find that for you. I think that one was in the Euclid file. There you go. This is from the course that we're doing at university, Blue. Once we've finished the other course, it says there the altitude of a triangle, perpendicular. Perpendicular to the side opposite, the opposite side. So there you go, Blue. Don't believe me? Tell us it's an elevation angle, because that'll make sense. If you want to know about geometry, you should come and do the course at Hillsdale, Blue. It will help you out. A silent H, Mike. It's a silent. The H is silent. It's funny. Everybody's having a good time. Anytime Rumpus is ready to show us his videos, we'll be happy to review all of his footage that he's got. If he does want a hand in being filmed while he's doing it, if he needs like some people to do a running filming, we can help out with that as well. We'll promise to not get involved with any of his tests. He wouldn't want to do any of that, but we could definitely film the hilarity that goes on. Oh. It's pretty sad. So if anybody is out there that wants to know about any of this stuff, I know there probably isn't anyone. Anybody, I don't hate flat earthers, whoever that is. I don't secretly hate anyone. I don't hate anyone. There's no need for hate. It's one of those things that just isn't needed in reality. I don't need hate at all, whoever Revo is. In fact, I quite like flat earthers, because at least they can come and talk, right? It's a bit strange because I find that most flat earthers they can't deal with the contradictions either. There's a couple of groups of people, we call them model afflicted, and the model afflicted take on contradictions. That's what they don't like being pointed out, right? They don't like seeing contradictions. Flat earthers hold contradictions. They do. Globe earthers, they hold contradictions. They're pretty obvious that they do. And this is 2023, modern day living. People are holding contradictions. Please read the A4 question above. A4 paper is flat. Is it? What? That's a vacuous statement. An A4 paper is flat. It's not.
Surface of this A4 paper is flat when we can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Providing it is, because if you scrumple it up, then no, it's not.
Yes, but
if you roll it up, it's not.
Yes, of course. So it has to be unrolled, let's say. So and you have to give some distance to that you cannot see any bumps or trenches or whatever. So then you can see that this is flat because this is visual description. So if you cannot see any undulation or whatever, you can say that this is flat, but it has to be straight because the perfect sphere is also smooth, and it doesn't mean that this is flat.
Right? What is flat?
So it means that it appears to be a plane.
It's a visual.
Yes, visual.
Right? It's
so
not measured, is it?
Not measured.
Not
Yeah,
measured.
it's visual.
Yeah.
It's visual condition, like, so you can say that I can see that this is similar to what I imagine plane is. That would be flat.
And if you were to actually touch it, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's flat." You would say, "That feels smooth." Right? It changes characteristics. Flat is just a visual thing. That's it. You can say that's flat, but then touch it and say, "Whoa, well, it's actually got some little bumps on it."
Yes, like tar paper or whatever. So you can see that this is, let's say, flat, but if you are just putting finger on that, and you can feel that this is not flat because you can scratch your finger on that and you can feel that this is not flat.
No,
because smooth surface wouldn't give you that friction like tar paper. So it's only visual. It concerns only sight sense, not touch sense.
Yeah, and Revo's in there saying that flat equals no curvature, but you do realise, Revo, that there are flat earthers that say, what's he called? Alberuni measured a mountain flat. Now, would you say mountains are flat, Revo? Because some flat earthers say they are. That's what you're dealing with. And we say things that aren't flat are things like mountains, because it's a visual surface, and that visual surface isn't flat. It's easy to say when something is flat and something isn't flat. Well, mountains aren't flat. Zoom out from where, Revo? What are you
From
talking
what
about?
position? Outer space?
No, how do you zoom out? If you're at a mountain, right, and the mountain's in front of you, how do you zoom out? What sort of a thing is that statement that? Blue marble, sort it out. A4 paper. Well, an A4 piece of A4 paper is made so you can write on it. You're not saying that paper is like a mountain, are you? You're not going to equivocate a mountain and a sheet of A4 paper, are you, Revo? Because to me, they're not similars. You can't equivocate a piece of paper and a mountain and say these two are both the same, because they're not.
Yes,
Sorry.
it is not the same order of magnitude, so completely different.
Unfortunately, that argument, like Askin says, that's terrible. It's nearly as bad as saying Al-Biruni measured the mountain flat. People have got too much of this. Yes.
But
Yes,
Revo is
Revo.
saying top view zoom. Of course,
Plan.
if you okay, because in that this is orthographic view. So yes, and it is meant to be orthographic view, just to not see any bumps or humps on the paper. So it looks at most as flat, because you are using orthographic view. So if you are, for example, on the aeroplane and you are looking at down at the earth, everything looks flat, because you cannot see difference between, let's say, valleys and small mountains, because they are on so far that you cannot discern between elevations from that orthographic view. But but still, it is only visual condition in orthographic view. But we are not living on the plains, and we are not. And by the way, we know that there are mountains and valleys. So it's still this visual condition is just only visual condition. It doesn't tell us about reality, in fact. For me, this is not an argument. Like looking from above, like, okay, so this is how maps are created. Yes, this is this orthographic view from above. Yes, and we have flat map. Okay.
He said, let me put this in perspective. Neil deGrasse Tyson said that Earth is as smooth as a pool ball. That puts it in some real perspective.
And he checked, and he checked with his finger, I guess.
Do you reckon Neil deGrasse Tyson knows that elevation changes are measured also? Actually, in reality. Because a mathematician should surely notice that elevation changes would make it not flat. I think they know this deep down. So there, Revo, are you happy with that contradiction? I class that as a contradiction. If you don't class that as a contradiction, that's fine. But I class that as a contradiction. Whilst knowing it's not flat, saying that it is flat. That's a contradiction. In my book. Maybe not in your book, Revo. But most people, I think most people would acknowledge that they can see it's not flat. I live in a coastal plain, right? And even I can see it's not flat. It's easy enough for me to see. But then I know how elevations are measured. Elevation changes are measured. It doesn't think it's a contradiction. So that's where I was saying to you, Revo, at the beginning. I said, I always ask flat earthers, you know, how do they deal with the contradiction? And most of the time, the answer that you give is the same one. Right? They dismiss it. They say it isn't a contradiction. But in my book, you don't get rid of contradictions by just saying they're not contradictions. That's not the way it works. But again, that we are in the arena of the earth-shaped debate, right? So contradictions have to be completely ignored on both sides. The model afflicted all have to live with contradictions. There's no difference on which side. I class it all as flat earth society, really. No, you don't see the contradiction.
Problem is
that's the problem.
when yes, because problem is that even if we can show contradiction, they cannot see it still. So it means that they have eyes closed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Revo, but I know there's a lot of people that do that. And that's why I'm not a flat earther, because I can see that contradiction. I can't be a flat earther because me personally, I know how elevation changes are measured. It's not flat. Once you've got a proof that it's not flat, doesn't matter how much you want to pretend you're going to zoom out.
And Revo he's confusing senses, because smooth is not description. This is not about visual. You can have a smooth surface not being flat. So like glass ball, it is smooth, but not flat. So it means nothing. But flat is visual. So if you zoom in and you can see that this is not flat, then you can say it isn't, you know it is not flat.
Smooth
But
is a touch sense.
yes, touch sense, yes, of course. So it doesn't mean that if you are touching glass ball or glass, just normal glass, round glass to drink, or it is not flat, it is round, like cylindric shape. So you cannot say that this is flat, but it is still smooth. So flat is visual when you see or you cannot see any deviation from flatness, let's say, so no ondulation. Then you can say that this is flat. This is visual description, and it is all right. But if you zoom in, you are losing this flatness because you can see differences within the surface. So it is no longer flat. This visual condition does not exist anymore if you zoom in. For me, it is not a problem.
Yeah, it can look flat, but if you zoom in under an electron microscope, you'll see that it's not flat.
Yes, but if you zoom out, you can see that this is flat again because
flat, yeah.
this is visual condition only. And you can change your visual conditions by zooming out and in. Yes.
It's not mathematical, right? It's not in
No.
any mathematical things. It's not a mathematical descriptor. So it will never
Optical.
be used in any proofs or anything. It's just a visual descriptor. Can be used in an argument though, right? Or in a statement. Such as all 2-scale maps are flat.
Yes,
There would
because
be nothing wrong in that statement.
absolutely, yes, yes.
Yes, Revo. In reality, everything is 3-dimensional. There's no way you're getting around that.
Yes, any object, even atom or whatever, is 3D. So it cannot be flat.
Is just a visual surface signifier. It's a way to recognize a surface visually. You're not measuring it, you're not touching it, you're just looking at it and saying that looks flat. I mean, you could find out that it's not flat because it could be an optical illusion or something. You could be looking at a bumpy surface but not seeing it. You could just say it looks flat. It's a hard thing for people to get over, you know, like having to deal with it, living with the contradiction. And it's not insulting to tell people or to point out a contradiction. If you don't see the contradiction, I mean, that's up to you. There's a lot of people nowadays, I think, that have been taught through education to not recognize contradictions. It's much ignorance is bliss, let's say it that way, right? Living with the contradiction is a lot easier if you don't know about contradictions, right? If you don't see the contradiction, then it's much easier to live with. What is it that you're wanting to call something, Revo? Because you use the descriptors for the thing that it is that you're talking about. It's no good to say what can we call it then?
I would say that Earth, if he is talking about Earth, this visual condition does not exist because you can see that the Earth is not flat. So this visual condition, which allows you to say that something is flat, does not exist in regard of Earth. So Earth is not flat because it does not meet visual conditions.
He's talking about a sheet of paper. He wants to know what he should call a piece of paper. And just call it a piece of paper. It's all right. You don't need to give it a descriptor of flat.
Yes, if you have rolled piece of paper, so you cannot say that this is flat.
We don't say paper is flat. We have paper here, right? He's talking at the minute. I would never dream of saying paper is flat. I've never even heard him play his organ. But even that would be an insult, wouldn't it? It's not true. It doesn't work. I don't know why you want to call something flat. It would be best to be able for you to use it to say, look at that. That's flat, isn't it? And then somebody else would look at it and go, yes, or no, I don't think that's flat. But just to conjure something up, to imagine something as an argument, it's ridiculous. Even more model afflicted, I think, this conversation. And I'm sorry to all of the flat earthers that are out there, right? But it's just a plain fact of reality, right? It's not flat. The earth, that is, right? If you're talking about a piece of paper, well, there's a piece of paper here and it's screwed up into a ball. So that piece of paper there, that A4 sheet of paper, isn't flat. I do have some in the drawer. They're still on the pad.
I would say that talking about window glass is better example of flatness than piece of paper, honestly.
Yeah, I think everybody would understand that. A pane of glass is about as close to flat as you could get. But that's in the vertical position, isn't it? I don't think.
Yes, but of course you can put it in horizontal also,
Yeah.
No problem. But still, the surface is visually most flat I could imagine. I cannot imagine anything else that would be more flat and smooth than window glass.
Nathan is the professor that deals with the Introduction to Western Philosophy course at Hillsdale College. Make sure you sign up. Get it? I've got my certificate. I don't know if anybody else has got their certificates yet. Has anybody else finished the course? I mean, we finished the course last week. got to sit your exams, do all of the questionnaires. I finished with 80%. If anybody wants to try and beat that, 80% on the final exam.
I doubt if I could achieve 80% because maybe in philosophy, but I think that there are some questions from mathematics also. So I don't know if I could handle that.
I got all of the stuff at the beginning was quite easy, you know, the Aristotle and Aquinas. I seemed to lose it when I came to Nietzsche and Hume. Perhaps I wasn't quite following, or perhaps I couldn't understand what the questions were. But yeah, that's where I failed at most of my stuff. At the later stuff, the stuff that is a little bit weird, to be honest.
Yes, to understand insane people, it is hard. Yes.
Okay, Arrivo, brilliant. There are mountains and canyons, so it's not flat then. We're sorted. That's the contradiction, right? Knowing that there are mountains and canyons that obviously are not flat, but you saying the Earth is flat when you know it isn't. That is a contradiction. Now, it's okay if you recognize it's a contradiction and say, I know that it's not flat. But if you don't acknowledge a contradiction and carry on, then you cannot be in a debate with that position. If that's your starting position is a contradiction, then you're not really fit to debate. Step 1. Don't contradict yourself with your opening argument. It doesn't go down very well in debate. Especially not round here. We're a bit of a stickler for that sort of thing. We just live in reality, and dealing with people who hold contradictions and want to discuss these contradictions is obviously what we do. It's the reason I'm not a flat earther is that I know it's not flat, right? The earth is not flat, unfortunately. So saying it is, I think, is why there's a lot of people that think flat earth is ridiculous. And it's, I'm sorry to say, Revo, it's people like you that make it look that ridiculous.
Revo is trying to defend his argument, but as we said, this is visual condition. You cannot see on a subatomic level. So if you can see surface as smooth and as planar, because you are in some distance of that surface or whatever, then you can say that this is flat, even if you know that this is not flat on subatomic level, because this is visual condition. This is visual descriptor. It does not describe reality, because we know that in reality everything is 3D, not 2D. So it cannot be a descriptor of reality. It's just visual, nothing else. So this is no problem. But saying that Earth is flat because, I don't know, because we see everything flat, it's not true, because we can see that surface of the Earth is not flat. And this is visual condition. So I am saying about visual condition, like mountains, valleys, etc. And it means that the Earth is not flat. Earth, not a piece of paper on a subatomic level, but Earth, not on not subatomic level, just normal visual condition.
Yeah, this is coming from the Flat Earth Society. Right? He's literally said it's Eric DeBay.
Okay, so Eric Dubay. So
Yeah.
this is someone can take that as dogma, or I'm taking that as a misnomer.
He's
So
saying there that he thinks the opposite of flat is globe.
no, opposite of flat is not flat.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Likewise, opposite of globe is not globe. So,
well, first off, you have to define globe. That's step one.
yes, it's difficult because we know that it cannot be. Even globers cannot say that this is perfect sphere. So, so they have also problem, because it is a globe with mountains and valleys. So it is not a globe.
Well, no, the globe is like the thing. I've got 4 of them in this room. Right? That's a globe. The other globe is the one that you have as a mental construct. That one is like the reality globe. It's not, obviously, it's not a ball like you've got in your globe, right? There is undulations on it in reality. There's elevation changes in reality. So the globe that you have as your mental construct has to comport with reality, right? The globe that you see that you have in the room, it's like a ball. That comports with reality as it is a sphere. But that isn't the same globe that you have in your head that comports with reality. They're not the same thing. They're different. But yet they're both called globe. You have to have that contradiction also, that they're not the same.
Yes, so this is similar to flat Earth conundrum. Let's say that's flat Earth, but not flat. So this is globe, but not that globe, not geometrical globe. So nonsensical for me, but still okay.
Mm-hmm. I think the globe that we all think of, right? They're the one that everybody thinks of in this particular discussion. The people, everybody's got it in their head. A model of globe. But that's just whatever you imagine it's going to be. And you're going to attempt to comport that to reality. But the problem with that is that everybody has a different idea. They're all different, every one of them. They're not the same. And then when you try and talk to people about it, well, people get upset Because their globe's different than your globe. Who said a globe is also flat? Who said that?
Mobius said that spheres are mathematically flat.
Two-dimensional. I don't know how to say that. I don't think there is a mathematical flat. I don't think flat exists within mathematics.
Yeah, I think, yes, it doesn't.
And he didn't say globe. He said sphere. Revo. There's a difference. Listen to the words. Don't be model afflicted so much that you start implying other words onto sphere, right? Sphere is a mathematical thing. Assumed that lack of curvature equals flat.
This is visual condition. So if you cannot see curvature, then you can say that this is flat because you can see it flat. But this is not about real existence of curvature, of undulation, or whatever. This is what you see.
But you definitely see the curvature of a mountain, right?
Yes,
that's how
of course.
you know it's not flat, right? Are you saying that you lack seeing the curvature of an undulation, a mountain, a hill, a riverbank, or whatever? Are you saying you're missing that, Revo? Because this is where I think the argument goes astray. If you're saying that you assume that lack of curvature equals flat, for you to go along with that as an argument, do you not see any curvature?
That would be, for me, very difficult to imagine because it would mean that that person cannot see curved lines. So, for example, that person would see a circle as a straight line because if he cannot see any curvature, so it means that if you show him a circle, he would say that this is straight line because he cannot see curvature. So that would be strange disability to see curvature. I don't know.
Now he's saying curvature of a horizon. Well, if we say the true horizon is horizontal and that all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, that surely can't mean it's flat because mountains and valleys are still there. Like, that's a ridiculous argument. It doesn't. It's a bit of a non sequitur.
Yes. Curvature of a horizon.
I don't see a curvature to the horizon, therefore I can call the Earth flat. But the true horizon is over water, and the Earth isn't water. I don't know. Argument breaks down yet again.
Strange. Revo says that curvature of a horizon, for instance. So if he cannot see any curvature, so how he can see curvature of horizon. I cannot see a curvature and let's say normal pictures of at sea. So when I am pretty sure that this camera was not with a fisheye lens or some barrel distortion, so I can say that this horizon is straight, not curving. I cannot see any curvature in horizon. Okay, I am off to bed. Good night. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Paper. What time is it? It's only 11 o'clock. It's early. Anybody else want to jump in? Anybody else got anything to say?
Yeah, just that I'm super busy.
Has anyone ever seen a Fata Morgana? It's on the YouTube now. Why is that not coming up? Asking what's going on. Is it not? Anybody else want to have a go? Yeah, you put it the wrong way around, didn't you? There you go. Thank you, asking. Thank you, mods. Okay, so yeah, we are going to be building an argument, obviously, and the best way to build arguments is by not having a contradiction inbuilt into your argument. But in saying that, we went over it last night. There is a way to use a contradiction within an argument to prove. It's called indirect proof. You get to use reductio ad absurdum in order to give a proof. It's an indirect proof. It's not as good as a direct proof. But usually, what you do is you do a direct proof. Obviously, the best way of finding a proof is show the direct proof. But then once you've shown your direct proof and come to the conclusion, what you then do is assume that your conclusion is false. And then you show the absurdity that comes from the assuming that the outcome is false. And if you can then show a contradiction or an absurdity, then that shows that your original conclusion must be true. It's a direct proof and an indirect proof in one, if you can do both of those things. And that's what's coming for the Rumpus poll. The Rumpus poll fits into a category